All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Micah Anderson. I'm a horticulture educator for Extension here at Langston University. It's already been a busy season. We came through the coldest front that we've ever had, that I have ever known since I've been in Oklahoma. If you got your cover crops in and all of those things, then you're probably thinking about getting ready to till that in and preparing your soil for making beds or whatever to plant. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. I've already picked up some onions, and some people's planting potatoes and stuff. I usually don't plant my potatoes until St. Patrick's Day, but it's hard to say. You just kind of got to have a feel for things. And so my specialty is plasticulture, and so we're gonna talk about that some more today, especially since we have quite a few new people. The Langston University Horticulture and Small Farm Program, so we provide technical assistance, and that's a lot of what I do. A lot of people just call me, and they need to know this and that, or some people bought plasticulture machines and they want to know how to calibrate them, or make them get them set right so they can make the beds correctly and all that stuff. We got the market gardening class, but now it's going to be the sustainable gardening class this year, which is going to be in Boley. And then we're working with local partners to improve market garden and small farm productions throughout Oklahoma. So some of the topics, let's see, did I pass up? Yeah, let's see, I'm trying to get used to this thing, new to me. Langston University presents the Sustainable Gardening School. The first session is going to be Saturday, the second Saturday in April, from 9 to 1. But we're going to go every second Saturday through October. So we actually take you through the growing season. We'll actually start out with soil testing, and then we'll talk about the results of the soil test. And what you really need to know when you get ready to start a garden is you want to know what do you have? Do you have the proper nutrients to grow a garden? Is your pH in the right place? And for the stuff that you're going to be growing. Topics are going to be growing fruits and vegetables. So I'll be talking about some sessions on vegetables, cool season vegetables we'll start out with, and then we'll go to the warm season vegetables, watermelons and cantaloupes, tomatoes, all that kind of stuff. And then we'll bring somebody in to talk about fruits, fruit trees, and those kind of things. And then how to set your market up. We'll talk about things that'll help if you're trying to sell at a market. We'll talk about things that you need to have, how you want to set your table up. How do you want your signs? You want to make people be able to come back to your table. You want to draw them in at the first of the season, and you want to keep them coming. Then we will have pest management, and you heard Dr. Tracy Payton Miller talk earlier, so she'll be helping us with this pest management and stuff like that. And then we'll be talking about our record keeping, and so that's kind of specialty with our administrator, and so he'll probably be coming and talking to us about some record keeping, and then harvesting and marketing. And it sounds simple, but many people don't harvest things at the right time, and that makes a difference. If you harvest squash that's too big, then you're going to turn people away from your table. And so we're going to talk about that, and then how to preserve that. The cooling, each different things has to be held at a different temperature. Many people may think that tomatoes need to be put in an ice box or keep them cool, but tomatoes actually keep better at room temperature. So we'll talk about all those kind of things. So it's April 10th, June 12th, July 10th, August 14th, and each second Saturday. And so you can get more information through Miss Jewel Golden. She's a secretary here, or that's her email. And then Micah Anderson, that's my phone number. And then my email is mandy24@langston.edu. It's mandy24@langston.edu, MANDE.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
You doing good? Okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you had it.
I'm trying to get used to this thing. It's real touchy.
Okay, you can just click on the side. That's okay.
Is that the right slide?
Yeah. Okay, let me just go to the next one. Okay, we're going to talk about the benefits of plasticulture. Earliness. So if, right now, the ground is cold. We had, I guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 below zero, which I've never seen here in Oklahoma before. So the ground is cold. And we haven't had a whole lot of sun. It's cloudy and what have you. So with plasticulture, you put that down and it warms the soil up, called black color. And there's different colors. You could even use clear plastic, and it warms it up even more. But with the clear, you wind up getting more weeds and stuff. But the black, you don't get the weeds because you just make a hole and put the plant there. So you get weed control and water conservation. But and then the weed with the black, you get the weed control, or even any of the colors, you get weed control because it's not going to let light through, and the weeds can't grow under there. With the white, with the clear, you still going to get some weeds, a lot of weeds going underneath there because the light is getting light. The water conservation through the drip irrigation, because the water is going to the root of the plant and it's not going up overhead and just splashing all over everywhere. Use probably a third of the amount of water, and you actually do a better job of watering because it goes deeper down into the soil because the water is going directly to the roots. So then also with the plastic, you get a reduction in nutrient leaching because nitrogen is one of those things that's kind of a problem. It always leaches away from you when it rains. When it rains, nitrogen leaches down through the soil and out. And it's one of those very important things that you gotta have. And so with the plastic, you don't get near as much of that leaching. So you get to maintain that nitrogen more and don't lose it as much. And then alleviation of soil compaction. And so with the raised bed, and then you have the plastic on top of the raised bed, when it rains, it doesn't pack the soil back. It stays loose and the roots are able to travel. Reduction of root pruning. And so you don't, when you don't have plastic and you're hoeing right up around that edge of that plant, you're actually damaging some of the roots of the plant. But with the plastic, you got probably 2 feet of space there that you don't ever damage the roots of the plant. And so then with all of that said, you actually wind up getting a greater yield and improved quality. So you start getting that quality of fruit and things that almost like that you see people talking about in a greenhouse, in hoop house. And this is just a lighter form of hoop house is plasticulture also. It's just another higher tech. But with each phase of technology, if you just plant something out there and you don't have any plastic or anything, then you do get utilization of the rain. But when it doesn't rain, you're in trouble. But if it rains too much, then your plants can drown. So in this case, in this picture up top, and these two pictures is actually a year where it was raining, just raining constantly. And you can see that the plants at that top picture are doing much better than the ones on the side because the plastic shedded the water off. And on the bottom, you can see the same thing where the water is a low place in the middle of that garden and the water is just kind of standing, but the plants are still looking pretty good because it's holding those plants up out the water.
Yeah,
You can just click the buttons on right and left, that'll work too.
yeah, right here. You want me to go back?
Yeah, go back.
That's not doing it. Hold on. Get that out.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just, we're trying to figure it out.
Where you
I'm
need to,
not
where you
sure.
need to be. Let me just see where.
Okay, go forward one time. Yeah, go forward.
Okay.
One more. Okay.
There you go. I'll do it.
Okay, so here is a picture of a couple of different machines. This is a machine like what we have up top. It's a, I can't think of the name of it right off the top of my head, but it's a rain flow. It costs about $5,000. You can get a Mulch machine for about $1,450. And so several people, quite several farmers have gotten a Mulch machine. It does a good job. It's not as heavy as the rain flow, but it still does a good job. And then there's a blue ribbon that a guy in Missouri, he took the rain flow and the Mulch and he made a machine that was in between. And so it's heavier than the Mulch and was not as expensive as the rain flow. And it's a good machine, and several people have bought it. And then at the bottom is a handheld machine that you can buy for about $800. And you can get that from Johnny's Seed. And we actually have couple of these machines that you can actually lay it, two people pull the machine and lay plastic by your hand. And so some of the things that you gotta have is if you're gonna do plastic, you can just make the bed and just put drip tape, but the mulch helps hold the moisture and doesn't let the water get away from you. So the two things that you have to have that goes on the machine is the drip tape and the plastic mulch. And so many people, when I first started doing this, when I was working back at the ag department, they thought the machine was gonna do all the work. But the ground still has to be tilled up just as like you was gonna plant it without plastic for the machine to work properly and make the beds properly. So this is just gonna show some pictures here. This is the rain flow machine, and got the plastic on it, and then the drip tape is coming down from underneath, and I'm driving the stake there to tie the drip tape to it. So the guy got the drip tape tied to it, and then that red thing there is holding the plastic. So when I pull away, the stake is gonna hold the drip tape, and that stake, which I had my brother to create for me, and I actually won an award for innovation there. But when we pull away, it actually holds the plastic there, and then it makes the bed, raised bed, lays the plastic, lays the drip tape all at the same time. And so there we see, now you can see the drip tape up top now, and it's rolling down underneath the machine. We're gonna probably keep moving through because I'm just kind of showing the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Just made it bigger that time.
I didn't mean to do that.
There we go.
Sorry.
So there's a row. My dad wouldn't be very proud of that row, but because it's got a crook in it, but I would have gotten in trouble back in the day of making a row like that. But anyway, it's a row we can plant in it. Okay, so here we have the header line running across, and we have the drip line. Each one of these drip lines is in each bed. And we have a shutoff, and you can buy this without the shutoff, but I really like the shutoffs. And the reason why is I like to plant the same thing in each row. And if that row has got tomatoes on it, and then the next row has got okra on it, I'm not gonna have to water and fertilize the okra as much as I am the tomatoes. So I can shut the okra row off and water and fertilize the tomatoes as they need it. And then I can turn that okra on every other time or whenever I need to. And this is another important piece to this system. Now, what you want to try to get as close to whatever you need in your soil before you start. But as you go into the season, especially with tomatoes and sweet corn and stuff like that, those plants are going to deplete some of those nutrients. And so with this little thing here, we can add fertilizer. We add a water-soluble fertilizer or fish emulsion. And when you turn the water on, it would take that fertilizer out to the rows. And if you don't want a row fertilizer, then you shut the shut-off valve off, and it'll just fertilize the rows that you want. So farmers are very innovative, and this is one of my underserved farmers out in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and he created his own design. This is something that I've always noticed about farmers. My dad was very innovative in creating different things. And the nice thing about this being up off the ground is the filter is tilted down, which is the way it's really supposed to be. So now we're just going to show some of the gardens that some of our underserved farmers have had in the past. And this is Rochelle King in Spencer, Oklahoma. She has done a really good job. Now she's selling to Whole Foods. And I'm not sure who all she all sells to, but she sells to a lot of different venues now.
You got a question in the chat. We'll go to questions in a little bit when you're ready.
There's a picture of Miss Rochelle King standing in front of her garden, a little bit closer to the garden there. And there's another picture. Go ahead. That's the same garden. That's also Rochelle's garden, I believe, too. Am I running out? I'm not running out of time.
Yeah, about 10 minutes. You got a couple of questions coming.
This is a close-up picture of some of her tomatoes. And you can see how beautiful the fruit looks when it's getting the nutrients and the water and everything that it needs. Purple hull peas, very popular with Native American and African American people in Oklahoma. This is Melvin Chambers. He used to be the market manager down in Okmulgee. Melvin was very good at making signages and at the market. And if you're going to be selling at a market, it's good to have really good signs. As was some of his creation. He was a graphic artist, retired graphic artist, so he had a little upper hand on some of us. This is another lady in Okmulgee that was on the program that had a garden in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. This is one of our contractors that started out. The young lady on the left, very far left, was the one that actually filled out the application. The mama didn't know anything about it. And we went out and done a demonstration. Then she wound up buying a machine and started doing it on her own now. That's just a close-up of some peas and stuff. It shows you how they flourish in this system. This is the Murphy's garden down in Wawika, Oklahoma. This is that garden too. And you can see another one of those years where it was raining a lot. But with the raised bed and the plastic, the plants flourished and they didn't drown. So just showing you how beautiful the tomatoes and the peas are. And then this is her at the farmer's market there in Lawton, Oklahoma, I believe it is. This is another farmer I work with in Moody. And now he's growing okra and shipping seeds all over the world, actually. He calls it heavy hitter, and he started growing this okra in the Plasticulture and developed this variety of okra that really produces a lot of okra on each stalk. I think this is the same farm where he's at. He's got tomatoes and things, got the cages on his tomatoes and stuff. Now, this is the same place but the tomatoes have grown up into the cages. That's just some of his tomatoes production. This is his okra, his heavy hitter okra that he shipping seeds all over the nation, all over the world, actually. And then he uses the organic herbicide, and it's so, I mean, it's like no weeds at all. That's just another one of his pictures there. This is another guy in Oklahoma City that got, well, he lost his job because he was working at the tire place. And the tire place closed down but he lived on 8 acres of land. And so he just started, he got on the program and started growing it, and he started selling right there in front of his house. He had a circle drive, go ahead. And so yeah, that's him there. And we went out for a little tour. And some people didn't even get out the car. They just pulled up and just ordered like they was at McDonald's or something.
I love it.
That's him and his wife and his father-in-law and mother-in-law and all of the family there. Cannon's Corner, there in Oklahoma City. This is some of his peppers, tomatoes he had. And again, we was at his place, and he had produced a lot of tomatoes, and then at the end of the year, his production went down. And one of our horticulturists came and looked at it, and he said, put some fertilizer in the canister, and I think you get some more tomatoes. And he got tomatoes all over again. This is Miss Coleman in Okmulgee. She's real good at growing transplants, and so she's at the market selling transplants there in Okmulgee. This is her little hoop house that she had transplants in. She actually, it was a hoop house, but she actually made it kind of like a greenhouse because she had her own little, she made a stove out of a 55-gallon barrel to heat it up. And so she really had some great transplants that year. There's strawberries on Plasticulture. To me, this is the only way to grow strawberries unless you're growing them in a hanging basket. Because if you don't grow them on plastic, the strawberries will land in the dirt and the grass. And this is a really clean way to grow strawberries is on Plasticulture. This is actually a garden that of my own. We can go through this pretty fast.
Okay.
The purple peas. This is some squash, watermelons again. And I would just go back after a couple of weeks and take some more pictures. So go ahead. And so you can see how fast it's grown in a week or two. Second stage, and then go ahead. The watermelons are starting to shake hands with each other. And then the third stage, and you can see here, what the purple hull peas is, I have a okra growing in the middle, and on each side I have a row of purple hull peas. So if you have the right combination, you can grow multiple crops in the same bed. And so you're getting two things, because the peas they'll be done, and the okra will keep on producing all the way to frost. And this is just a backup picture, and you can see the watermelons, everything is just really flourishing at this point. And the sweet corn. And this is a late garden that with the plastic, we extended the season into the late into the fall.
Okay, you got 3 minutes for questions. You want to go ahead and wrap it up? And get some
Yeah, let's
questions?
wrap it up. Let's go. I think I got some pictures of some of the watermelons that's tomatoes, cantaloupes, watermelons. Yeah. So okay, so let's take what's some of the questions. This is a farmer's market setup, and we'll be talking about this in the class, how to set your market up.
Okay. So one of your questions was, they wanted to know if they could purchase one of those pieces of equipment. So let me just stop sharing. I'll go ahead and stop sharing. We'll do the chat so you can see your
If
questions.
they can purchase a Plasticulture machine?
See, here's some of your questions. And so, let's see if it'll.
Okay, somebody asked if you can purchase, you can actually, there's a place in Missouri called Morgan County Seed that sells the notes machine that I think is like $1,400. And then there's also a machine, there's a place, Irrigation Mart in Louisiana, that sells the notes and the rain flow. So you can get them there. And then some, if you get in touch with me, sometimes there's people that want to sell a machine. A guy that I know right now in Piedmont, he bought a machine last year and he planted like 40 acres of watermelons, and he decided that it was a little bit too much work.
Carol
So
Jones,
he's, ready to sell that machine now.
Carol Jones wants to know, is it better to drip tape on top or under the plastic?
Well, I think the question is it better to drip the drip tape on top of the plastic or underneath it? It's going to be better to drip it underneath the plastic. I have heard of people putting it on top of the plastic and it will work, but it's going to be more efficient if you put it underneath the plastic.
Okay. And is the drip tape buried underground?
It can be buried underground or it can be right on top of the ground. The machine has an adjustment on it. You can put it 2 or 3 inches under the ground. I usually try to put it at least an inch or so under the ground because it keeps mice and rodents from eating on, trying to get water, and they wind up putting holes in it.
Okay, Keto Lorax said some growers swear by red plastic as best for ripening tomatoes. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes, the question is about the red plastic and tomatoes. So we did do some red plastic on tomatoes a couple of years, and it does seem to make a difference. There are some studies. There may be some research that we may want to do here at Langston. I would love to do it. Where the red plastic is supposed to help with pollination because the tomatoes are red. And we did seem like we did better with the red plastic with tomatoes. The problem we had with the red plastic was that if you hold it up to the light, you could see through it, and you would get a lot of grass and weeds underneath the plastic. But what I have done is put the plastic on top of black plastic, and I didn't get that problem.
And one more question, or the organic herbicide that was used. Can you comment on that?
I can't really comment on okay, the question was organic herbicide. You can get in touch with me and I can get in touch with Mr. Ron Cook and get more information on that, but I don't have it just at my fingertips.
Okay. Someone was wondering if you sold the piece that you and your family member created? The piece? Maybe.
Oh, no, I haven't sold it. It was just a railroad tie. I put 2 hooks on it for my hands, and I put 2 pieces of rebar and I sharpened them on the bottom.
Okay.
Real simple thing to make. I can, if you give me a call, I can tell you how to make it.
They want to know how to reach you. I'll put your email in the chat.
Yeah, my email is mandy24@langston.edu, MANDE 24 at langston.edu.
Thank you for the questions.
All right, thank y'all. Thanks for listening. Hope you learned something and you can get in touch with me at that email. Back to you, Mary.
Thank you so much, Micah. Always so insightful. He really is one to always answer questions, reply to emails, and as you can see, he's willing to just share all of his ideas like that. So please feel free to reach out to him and get some great insight. And now I'm really excited to see someone I'm not usually seeing at Langston University. We have James Arati here. He is a new member to Langston. His email hasn't even shifted over yet. But he is now going to be presenting on making best use of air properties.